All right, give it about a minute or so here. So it was about a minute behind getting here. I had a last one run a little bit long on me here. I said about another 30 seconds. I'll kick things off here. Thought I might probably have my microphone off. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share the presentation. All right. So I will go ahead and get started here. So thanks for joining. This is a presentation that a peer company of ours has been doing for a number of years. He owns a plumbing and HVAC business. And I said his prospects, his customer base really enjoyed the presentation. Haven't done it before, but I thought I'd roll it out this year. So I hope you find it valuable. Definitely interested in any feedback. If you shoot an email at chris@garagedoormarketers.com. Anything you want me to add, anything you want me to subtract, anything you thought that was just boring is like, dude, just don't do it. I love any kind of feedback like that. So don't be shy. And I'm always interested in things that you want to cover that maybe I don't. And so by all means, please share and I'll get right into it. So plan for the session. I'm going to talk about setting clear goals and targets for the year. That's an exercise that I go through for my different brands that I own. And I just find it very helpful. And so, when I heard that this process resonated with peer companies, clients, that, well, sure, I can see why that would be. And so we want to make sure that our KPIs and tracking are aligned with our goals. You want to map out our plan, budget, what channels, important trends, and I'll try to talk about those here a little bit. I don't just want this to be, a boring recitation of things that you could find elsewhere on the internet. Things that we've seen in our client base, I like to talk about to the extent I can here. And it just sets you up for success in 2023 and beyond. Now, you can go, I believe this would have been emailed out with the sequence. I don't know. If not, just go to garagedoormarketers.com/2023 plan. We're not going to go through it explicitly. It's basically just something you can take notes on. There's checklists, I believe. And, when I'm done here, there'll be a replay available, which we'll post on our site, or Andrew can send it to you. If you want to watch it again, go through it. But, so don't feel like you got to go print this out right now if you don't have it in front of you. Not the end of the world, but it's a resource there for you. So who am I and why should you listen to me? So, I've written the book Online Marketing for Garage Door Companies, and what that is just an approach, not really for seasoned guys. I mean, what we found in the garage door space is there's generally many of you have a very, very good feel for SEO, for Google ads, all these things. You've engaged these things before. It's not a surprise for you, but there are garage door companies that maybe don't have quite that level of sophistication, where some more basic step-by-step things that you can do, an explanation of what's going on here, would be helpful for them. And so that's the target of that book. You can download it for free, probably on our site, or ask Andrew, he'll send it to you, but it's there. I'm the founder of Garage Door Marketers. This is a relatively new venture for us. We're still kind of in the launch phase of Garage Door Marketers. But we weren't born yesterday. I'm also the founder of Paving Marketers, which is the #1 marketing company for paving companies. And the tactics and what works for paving works for garage door companies works for HVAC companies, works for plumbing companies. The problem to solve is if you roll crews or trucks, how do customers find you and how do you convert those prospects into customers? It's the same problem with different keywords, different things, but it's ultimately the same thing. And so the lessons that we learned from paving marketers translate directly to garage door marketers. And the lessons from paving marketers came from what we've learned for my main business, which has been around for 12 years or whatever now. It's one of the top digital marketing agencies in the Midwest. Got 2 locations, over 600 5-star reviews. We've been doing this a long time. We've been there, we've done that. We've learned through testing, through many hundreds and thousands of projects, what works and what doesn't. And so we've been at this a long time. I've been at this a long time. And so while garage door marketers is a newer venture, part of our growth plan, part of our strategic plan, in many ways it's all the same thing. And so it's not just what we're learning through our garage door customers, which is valuable. It really serves to confirm that what we've already known applies there too. And so as I go through this talk, I'll probably be referencing paving stuff because I have more data there. When I do this presentation next year, I'll have a year more's worth of data for garage door companies, and I'll talk more specifically about those numbers. But the principles apply, and so it's still a valuable exercise in my mind. So that's why you should listen to me, or not, whatever you want to do. So before we get into any of that, this is about setting goals, and you have to set clear goals. One of the best things I ever did in my business career is that before each year, plan where I wanted to be at the end, this time next year, and what I needed to do to get there. And so you want to think about now, and if you haven't already, now's the time. What are your goals for 2023? And most people have. I don't meet many business owners or talk to many business owners that aren't thinking that way, but you really want to get into the details and get under the hood and not just kind of have it, on the back of an envelope. You want to really plan it out. If you don't, this is an image from the original presentation, which I liked. You're just kind of floating with the waves. You kind of know where you want to get, but you don't have a clear plan to get there, what you're going to do to get there, and you might get there or you might not. You might not go anywhere. So having clear goals is like putting wind in your sails. You're steering, you're going where you intend to go, and you're following your plan to get there. And so to do that, you want to just have a snapshot of where you're at currently. What's your average monthly revenue? What's the typical number of jobs you're running per month? How many service calls? How many new garage door installs are you doing? Any other key metrics? What's your average ticket for sales? What's your average ticket for service? What's your conversion rate on your inbound leads? How many crews are you running? How many trucks are you sending out? Just where are you at now, understanding the numbers of your business, what's your profitability, all these things, just having a clear picture of that is where you start. And you know this already, of course. Then what you want to do is set a long-term vision, right? So where do we want to be in 2025? I have this laid out for all my businesses. I know for garage door marketers where I plan to be in 2025 from a revenue standpoint, what acquisitions I would plan to make in the space, how many customers we're going to have, what the revenue will be, what my gross and net margins will be. I've got this all mapped out and how I'm going to get there. Okay. For you, where do you see your company in 3 years? Some people are like, dude, I want to be small. This is where I want to be at, and I want to maintain that. That's totally cool. You're making good money. You're at a level you want to be. That's awesome. But some people want to grow. I'm planning on growing in businesses. I got a lot of kids. I don't want to send them off, talk to crazy people. I'd like, if they'd like, to be a part of the business that I'm building. And so I'm building multiple businesses. I have plans for all of them. And so the actions that I take are designed to get me to that place. And so for you, that's the first decision you want to make. And I'm sure you already have, which is in 2025, where am I going to be? What's my revenue? How many trucks, crews, whatever you call them? And then why? Why are you doing this? I told you why I'm doing it. I told you why some guys want to stay where they're at. This is something only you can answer, but it's critical for dictating what your plan is going to be, right? Nothing earth shattering here. So if you go to garagedoormarketers.com/2023-worksheet, there's just a little Excel sheet. I think there's a Google Docs version there, where you can play around with some numbers and just put some meat on the bones, right? So what's your annual revenue goal target? Okay, what's your monthly revenue target? What's your average project or ticket revenue? You can make this more complicated. For next year, I might break this down into sales revenue and service revenue, but this is the first time I'm running this for garage people. I want to hear your feedback over the year as more people watch this, and I'll take them into account for next year's version. But this is what I got for this year's version. So average it all together, and that's going to give you the number of service calls or whatever you want to call it each month that you need to hit that goal. Okay. And then you should know what your conversion rates are out of how many leads you come in, how many of them do you sell. Okay. Have that number. And then from that how many leads you need per month to hit your revenue target. Okay. And then you need to know what your cost per lead is. What's your cost per lead for Google Ads? What's your cost per lead organic? Are you working with an agency? Factor that in. All those things. So you find out what your cost per lead is, and you find out what your advertising budget is. So you know how many leads you need, what you need to spend to get there, and you can plan for it and you can do it. And so you know what you need to spend. It's not like, well, I'll spend $5,000 on Google Ads. Well, that's great. Is that going to get you to your monthly number? That's what you need to know. Okay. And so once you have your high level goal, start breaking it down into smaller pieces, right? And so the second page of the worksheet takes that high level number and allows you to frame it out in a little bit more detail. So for example, the rule of thumb is probably spend 8 to 10% of your top line revenue on marketing if you want to grow or at least maintain. I think something like 5 to 8%. That you see different studies all over the place, but certainly no less than 5 to 8% to stabilize, 8 to 10% to grow, and up to 15% if you want to grow aggressively. Now this varies across markets, but a good rule of thumb. We use 10%. That's what I like to spend. And now this is, I have sales guy, I have a sales team, right? So that's part of my spend. I also spend on marketing, so throw all that in together. You should be spending 10% of your target on your customer acquisition as a rule of thumb. You want to break that down into, so you get an average monthly budget, break that down into online versus offline. Are you doing Valpak? Are you doing mailers? Are you doing radio or whatever? Any non-internet marketing, what's your spend? Well, account for that, right? So this doesn't mean you're spending $21,000 a month on Google ads, but you want to know where you're spending everything. And again, you want to know your costs, and you want to know how you want to adjust it seasonally. You maybe see less installs November, December, January. So maybe you want to spend less, certainly on install advertising at that time. You may want to spend more March, April, May as it warms up, people start replacing their garage doors. The seasonality of your business, and you should adjust your spending accordingly. Okay. So this is just a worksheet for you to play around with. Again, if you download it and you play around with it and you want some changes, let me know. Shoot me an email, chris@garagedoormarketers.com. I'd love to I like making these things. I got so many spreadsheets. I got a problem with spreadsheets, but I'll make cool ones for you if you tell me what you like. So give me feedback. I'll make you a better spreadsheet. Okay. All right. So that's setting goals. That's all great. And now let's talk about how to get there. What's your marketing strategy? Now, Garage Door Marketers in its present form is all internet marketing. We don't touch radio. We don't touch print. We don't touch mailers. That may change in our long-term vision, but it's not where we're at today. So we're talking internet online marketing. Okay. And that's what we're going to focus on here. And so again, I'll have slides in here. It says pavement companies. Obviously, we're talking garage doors, but again, this is the first run through of this. Give me your feedback, but the same principles apply everywhere. As you think about driving leads from the internet, it's kind of this matrix of 9. That's kind of a convenient device for thinking about it. And it's broken into 3 parts. You want to drive leads. You want to maximize your conversion. And when you've done those 2 things, you want to optimize your results. Okay. So how do you drive leads? There's 3 main ways to do it. There's organic. Organic is primarily SEO, and I would include maps. Okay. So you got to have a strong SEO and maps game. That's your organic acquisition pathway. There's paid. Google ads, Yelp ads are another one that we see a lot. Facebook ads too, to a lesser extent, if you've tapped out those 2. But you want to tap into paid channels. It's a very critical piece. The garage door industry is extremely competitive and paid. There's been a lot of fraud and shady stuff in there. So you guys have a brutal verification process that most industries don't have to deal with. It stinks. We're helping several garage customers navigate their way through it where they haven't gotten through it before. But it's worthwhile to do. There's a ton of leads there. It's highly competitive. And if it's highly competitive, it's because it works. And so this has to be part of your lead generation plan. And then your customer database. Now, this is not, just spam calling your old customers all the time, but you should maintain in touch with them. That install will become a service call down the road. It may become a referral. And so you want to have a consistent approach for reaching out to them. Generally, email newsletters, doesn't have to be anything fancy. You don't need some 85-part follow-up sequence. Just stay in touch with you. Keep a database of customers, 1, and 2, stay in touch with them. I use my HVAC system as an example. I have no idea who fixes my HVAC system. I don't want to think about it. I've got enough to do as it is. But they did a good job, and I'm happy with them. And if I need to call them, I have to remember who they were. And I do that by looking in my email. And I see email, I'm like, oh yeah, it's those guys. And I call them up. Your customers do that too. So you got to be in their email box. If you've done business with them, they're going to remember you. They won't mind. Don't spam. Don't send them something every week. Don't be obnoxious. Don't send them something every month. But just stay with them enough so that they can find you. That's working your database. And you can call them and ask for referrals. Hey, did you do a good job? Is there anything we could have done better? Oh, glad to hear you're happy. Is there, do you know anybody who might need, a garage door company to work with that maybe doesn't have one? Probably won't unless they're commercial. And then would you mind leaving us a review? Just touch base with them. That's all it is here, but it does drive it business, as you know. Okay, so once you're driving leads, maximize conversion. Really, there's 3 things you can do here. I mean, there's a lot more, but again, we're trying to simplify this. Your website has to be really good. It has to be set up properly. It has to be set up normally. Like, don't do crazy things on your website. You're not an art gallery. You're not, don't be cute here. Just follow the format that everybody uses. Everybody uses it for a reason. That's what customers expect. That's how they navigate it. Don't make it complicated. Okay. Reputation. This is so, so important. If you take nothing else away from what I say in this presentation, get reviews. We have customers that have over 1,000 reviews. They drive it. You have to do that. If you don't have 1,000 reviews, get there. And it's not easy, but you have the volume of jobs that you can. And so you need a process for consistently following up and asking for the review. It has so many benefits, and we'll talk a little bit about where leads come from and from our data, that you can't let this slide. If you're not doing this, do it. Don't listen to anything else I say, just do this. Okay. Automation. So when someone calls you, pick up the phone. Most of you have the solution for this in place. But web forms too, call them back right away. Don't wait. After they submit that form, they're calling somebody else. So get on these leads and call them and follow up with them. If it's an install, if it's not a service call where you're sending someone right away, if it's a sales, a door sale, follow up with them. They're pricing you out. They're talking to other competitors. You might have to call them 5 times before they move. Don't send a bid and forget it, because someone else is going to be calling back. Okay. And then optimize results. So one thing that we're big on is there really is not, so let's talk about Google Ads. There is not a dogmatic approach where you can a cookie cutter approach where you can just take it and just roll it out for everybody. It works every time. Because we've tested that. We've had campaigns where, it was producing if the industry average cost per lead was $35, our campaign is producing leads for $10 a lead. It was amazing. Still doing it. That campaign is still rolling. We took that exact campaign and moved it to a similar demographic, outside of a big city, but in another part of the country, different customer, but everything else was exactly the same. And the campaign bombed. Cost per lead went up to $300. We had to stop it and start it over. It makes no sense. It was literally the exact same thing that here in a similar place was producing unbelievable results, which we wouldn't even want to advertise. They were so good because we don't want to set the expectation, right? But we put it somewhere else, doesn't work. So be wary of anyone who telling you they have the secret for how to do it. The secret is there is no secret. The secret is you try things, you test things, and you drive down the cost per lead by optimizing. That's how you do this right. And anybody who says otherwise is just selling you a bill of goods. You know, we've had to scrap campaigns 3 weeks in and start over. We generally would want to use landing pages. We've had tests where sending customers to the homepage works better. Now that's crazy. If you know anything about Google ads, everyone tells you landing pages, landing pages, landing pages. And that's true a lot of the time, except that when you test a landing page against the homepage and the homepage converts better, and you try another landing page and the homepage converts better. At some point, you have to say, okay, well, I know it's been drummed into my head that landing pages are necessary, but my data is telling me something else. And I'm getting lower cost per leads by just sending traffic to the homepage. And so that's what we'll do. We know agencies that don't even use landing pages anymore. They just send traffic to the site because of how much this is working. So you have to test and you have to know what your cost per lead is. So if your marketing agency that you're working with now is not reporting to you what your cost per click doesn't matter, average spend doesn't matter, number of clicks doesn't matter, number of calls doesn't matter. Yes, you care how many calls you get. What was the cost per call? That's what matters. And what was the cost per call last month? If they're not working on that, and now you can't drive it to zero, obviously, but you should be able to ask your marketing company, what are you doing to improve my cost per lead? And they should be able to tell you. And if they can't, you're probably not being served the best way possible. Okay. I think I've beaten that horse dead enough. But this is the approach that we recommend, and this is the approach that we deploy for our customers. Okay. So talk strategy a little bit. Where do you need to focus most? Again, there's so much you can focus on. And again, these are mishmash slides because we've got different business lines here. But the point is, you really over time have to cover everything. So it's a question of where do you want to invest first? Where do you want to focus on? Again, this is just an example of a website, but the point here is your website is the hub. So if you start nowhere else, make sure your website is good, make sure it's up to date, make sure your footer says 2022, and soon we'll say 2023. This is being recorded mid-December. In 2 weeks, change it. Okay. Don't make sure it doesn't say 2015 or whenever your website was last built. Customers notice things like that if they're comparing you to somebody else. So make sure your website is current. Make sure it's laid out like every other website is, because that's what people expect. Don't get cute with this stuff. Make it easier make it easy as possible for customers to call you. And that's as far as you need to go with it. We'll talk more about what things you can do, but get your website right. That's where it starts. Okay. And getting it right is what goes to conversion. And so why is this important? It's important because you can spend all this money generating traffic, all this money on SEO, all this money on Google ads, and all these other things. But if you're not paying attention to conversion, you're shooting yourself in the foot. And so here's two different scenarios, right? Say these are, high quality installs where, these are $4,500 garage door projects. You can get 250 visitors a month at a 6% conversion, and you only book a third of those jobs. That's going to be $22,000 in revenue. Okay. If you triple your conversion rate, as in 18% of those visitors turn into calls instead of 6%, you triple your revenue, keeping everything else the same. So this is one of those things where you've got all these little levers that you can pull on to get better results. Testing your conversion makes a difference. Now, this is not like changing the color from blue to red. I mean, that's kind of dumb stuff, but it's just even things like installing heat mapping stuff and seeing where people interact with your site, adding social proof. There's lots of things you can do to increase conversion. For me, the thing that is the strongest conversion improver is when a customer lands on your site, you look like a real company that knows what it's doing with a history of results. If you can demonstrate that, your conversion rate will go up. Everything fancy that you do to distract from that will take your conversion rate down. It's my opinion. I don't have a study to back it up. That's what I think. So how do we optimize for conversion? There's, here this list has 12 elements. We'll go through them, but I don't want to get too much in the weeds on this. You if you want a copy of this, you watch the video, send me an email at chris@garagedoormarketers.com. I'll email you the slides. Happy to share it with you. I don't want to bore you to death on this. It's like 3:30 in the afternoon. This is like prime. Someone's talking at me. I'm going to sleep now. So I don't want to get too nerdy on this, but we'll go through them real quickly, right? So you want to speak to your target avatar. Who are you selling to? Who is your customer? Make sure that you're talking to them. Make sure that, they don't feel like you're talking to someone else. Don't show your residential customers commercial garage doors. They're like, I want this, right? Don't show your service customers who have broken springs, beautiful garage doors. That's not what they're trying to see right now. They've got a problem they want to fix. Make sure the content you're presenting to them addresses the problem and addresses the customer. That's all that this means. Be real. Use authentic images of your team on the homepage and throughout the site. This is undervalued, but so important. Show your team, show your crew, show your trucks. It shows you're a real company. You're not some fly by night, shade balls who are, service companies, and you probably do this, many of you do, send pictures of the tech who's coming to my house. I've got a water heater out. I don't, but if I do, it's happened. I know who's coming to my door, and there he is. People like that. It builds trust. They don't know who the crazy guy is at their door. It's true for your website too. Let them see you. Let them see your team. Let them see you, the owner. If that's you who's on this call or watching this video, put yourself out there. You don't have to be photogenic. I'm not photogenic. I hear today people watch my videos all the time. I don't want to listen to myself talk, but people find value in getting to know me through videos. It's completely the same for you. Record a little video introducing your company on your website. It's great. People watch that stuff. They eat it up. They love it. And it's because people don't buy from companies. They buy from people that they think they can trust and who will deliver. So use this stuff. Show your crews, show your people, show your trucks. It matters. You'll get more calls. Use video. Like I said, like drone. You're not doing big construction projects, but you can assemble your crew on the front lawn with all your trucks. Have a little drone fly over. People love that kind of stuff. It just shows who you are. It's multimedia, engages. It's amazing how this stuff works. Like I'm recording this from my home here. We've got like an open concept thing over there. You might hear my kids screaming at each other in the background. But we'll have like a kids show on the TV, like for 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds. And my 15-year-old will be in the kitchen just staring at it across. Like, I'm like, dude, why are you watching a show for 3? It's just because it's video. They're like, they're like zombies. They just zoom in on it. Video is hilarious. It works. So use it. If it works on kids, it works on your customers. It's amazing the impact it has. It does. So use it. So here I was saying, use the website welcome video. You can have videos for each of your services. That's a little overkill, but hey, if you got a videographer, make him earn his money, right? This is a good one. There's something helpful about a video from the owner explaining why they should choose you instead of the competition. You don't want to talk bad about your competition. It's bad form. It's low class. Don't do it. But tell your story. You've been doing this long, whatever it is for you. But present your company and why you're the choice to work with them. People will engage with you and they'll like you for it. Leverage social proof, showcase your online reviews. Like I said, if you don't have enough of them, keep getting them. You garage door guys are good at these. You guys get tons of reviews. It's amazing. It's, you're one of the best. We have customers who do it in the garage door space. You guys are good. You're cutthroat. Get those reviews. You need them. Get the basics in order. Like I said, this is basic conversion stuff. Phone number in the upper right-hand corner. That's where people immediately go to look for it. Make a button for people to click to call, especially if they're on mobile and stuff like that. And sure, there's a web form. Some people are web form people. I don't know if I have chat on the slide or not, but have chat. Best if it's manned, but even if they can send a message, some people will send a message in chat and they won't fill out a form. People are silly like that, but that's how they do. I do it because I can't tell you the number of times I've submitted forms to companies and they never answer. It blows my mind. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to hire you. Like, answer your form. They don't. So I generally use chat first because it seems like I have a personal higher conversion rate in chat than I do forms. Now my customers get their forms answered because I make darn sure that their forms get to them. but it's amazing to me how many forms go unanswered. Answer your forms. I'm sure you do. Okay, credibility with authority symbols. You know, everybody knows who the BBB is and nobody cares. Everybody knows who Angie is and nobody cares. The people care about your projects and your reviews and your testimonials. That's the social proof. Now, it doesn't hurt to put it on there if you remember, if you're Angie, if you're BBB, if you're members of NARI or any of these groups, put it on there. But it's not. This doesn't. People see through this stuff. People see through supposed credentials. Show your work. Show your reviews. That's your true credibility. Clear calls to action. Again, make sure your customer knows what to do next. Call you, fill out a form, seek out an estimate, whatever. Don't make it hard for them to take the right steps to talk to you. Use special offers and coupons. This really depends on your market. This is something that we test. If we take on a new garage door customer and we don't see coupons in the ads, generally we're not going to start with coupons. There's no reason to give money away. If your customer's searching and they're not seeing coupons, why would you put coupons out there, right? Or unless you want to use it, right? Once we've kind of gotten a sense of the market and other guys aren't doing it, okay, let's do a coupon. That's your part. Okay. Or conversely, if everybody's running a special, then you got to run a special and nobody's running a special. So you got to be aware of what's going on around you. Special offers can work, but customers aren't stupid. They're shopping around. They're looking at what else is out there. So you got to have situational awareness about what's going on and base your market offer engagement with what your competitors are doing. That's where it starts. Make sure your website is mobile optimized, easy click to call. This is obvious, this. Live chat, as I mentioned. Give clients the option to book online. I know there's our software some of our customers have that allows you to do this. We recommend it. We'll help you implement it on your sites. It's great if they can come to your site and book their service without ever having to talk to you on the phone. That's what I do. Any chance I got, I will go with the guy who'll just let me. Is this a good company? Yes. Can I book online? Double yes. I'm sold. I'm done. Let's go. So give your customers the ability to do this. Some people are phone people. They're going to call you. You have your phone people. They're going to call you. They won't stop. Some people are just want to get it done. That's me. So you gotta have options for everybody. Okay. Site speed matters. You probably know this, but don't, your site can't be slow. Don't put, feature length movies on there. It's going to kill you. They'll bounce. Don't do it. And let customers engage with you via SMS. I'm not an SMS guy. I don't want my plumber texting me like no, go away, dude. Like I want my wife texting me, my kids. That's about it. But this is a new thing. People do it. And so you got to start thinking about ways to enable it. Something that we're testing different solutions for. There's not really a good one, unfortunately. That's not super expensive. We're trying to find a good, relatively cheap solution for our clients to enable this. We have some, but nothing that works the way I really like. So, it's still a new enough thing that there aren't really great solutions out there, but it's something you should be looking at and finding ways of enabling. And that doesn't mean WhatsApp. WhatsApp's the easiest thing, but who uses? I don't use WhatsApp. I don't know. This whole social media, like all these texting apps, maybe I'm just an old guy at this point, but things change. You got to cater to it. So is your website set up convert? This is another example. They're all the same. Have a form, have your logo, free estimate. This is a paving example, whatever. You see the number to call, get an estimate, got a form, whatever they want to do, it's there. And there's no live chat bubble on this one, but I think the site has it. If it doesn't, we're probably put it on there for them. But yeah, your basic view when a customer comes to your site should be like this. And then we start adding in reviews as they scroll on, start adding that social proof in, and that's what people like. It brings you lots of leads. Be real and authentic. This is what I was talking about. Again, I'm using paving examples here because I don't have any garage door customers we want to put out there yet. Next year, this will be full of garage door stuff, but we want, we're building these case studies, and I don't want to put those out there before I am satisfied, that we have that, again, depth of examples and things to use. But this is a great example. Put your crew out there. Instead of paving machines, have your trucks, have your guys. Just stand there. These are the people that are going to come do your project. They look like hardworking guys, great. They look like normal dudes, great. Put them on there. That's what people want to see. It's you can't overestimate how powerful this is. Video, like I talked about video, I would say, I mean, I guess I could embed a video here, but that's kind of, I didn't want to figure out how to do that. The background here is a video running. When I grab the screenshot, sitting there watching the video, like my kid watching the TV, it just kind of grabs you. It's funny. So use it. It's a good thing. Showcase social proof. You want to show reviews. Again, if you're not getting reviews, get a lot of reviews. But put them on your site. You know, we'll get more into this, but even as you start getting locations and building out location pages, you want to have reviews for those cities if you can, talking about those. Was it an install? Was it a service call? You want to start making project and, you know, sales and service case studies where you kind of get before and afters with a testimonial for the customer. Those are very powerful. Get those as much as you can. They do great for you. Get the fundamentals right. This is things like putting your company history. Not everybody knows your company history. In fact, nobody does. So put it out there. Are you a second generation, family owned? How long you've been in the area? How many locations you have? How many, you know, anything that you can put out there to build trust that you're a competent, quality, honest organization, put it out there. It will help you. Live chat we already talked about. Mobile friendly. This is a slide from the original deck that I did left in there because I thought the example was good, but the example that's not good on here is the website. You can make it look that way if you want, but nowadays the websites are still look like websites, but just kind of collapse. You know, you've seen it. So I think the website looks goofy here, but the point remains the same. Make your mobile site easy to use. Okay, so on the plan or the workbook thing, there's all these checklists for you to do. Just go through them. The point of this is just as you are doing your planning for the year, as you're assessing, okay, you've got your goals, you're just going to spend on marketing. All right, what are you going to, you know, what are some things that you can find that you can have your agency work on? Maybe ask them about, give them targets to work on to improve. And so that's what this checklist is for, is just for you to kind of double check. You're like, hey, yeah, you know, we don't really have authentic images of the team. Let's call a photographer and let's get those. Let's give those to our marketing company to put those on our site. Okay. Go through this. Just these are meant to like give you ideas about how you can make things better for you in 2023 and hit your goals. Okay. Takeaways, you know, I'm not going to pause. I'm not going to open this up for everybody to talk. We don't need to have a roundtable discussion on this. You know, are you learning stuff? I hope so. If not, I hope I'm not boring you to death, but think about the things we're covering. Do you have any gaps here? Are the things that you're missing? Write them down, put them on your list, and just take actions to address it. That's the point. All right. So now I want to get into a little bit of more tactical stuff, things that we're seeing, kind of some trends, what's important, what's not. We're going to hit on all those things. Okay. And I've got about 20 minutes left maximum. I don't want to use all the time, so I'm going to start going through this a little more quickly, make sure everything's covered. And so just here we go. So the question is, does your website come up in search? And does SEO still matter? And yes, it does, and it always will. Every year, you know, almost every quarter, there's some trade journal comes out with SEO is dead. Every time there's some, you know, AI advancement, oh, SEO is dead, Google's going to die. I hate Google. They're not going to die, not going anywhere. SEO is not going anywhere. As long as your customers have garage doors that break, SEO is going to matter. And that's just the way it is. So they can keep talking. It's never going to die. Because unless something better than the search engines come out, SEO is going to be here. Even the yellow page is still around, but the yellow pages, you find the yellow pages on search engines. So it's not going away, no matter what they say. And so, yes, SEO does still matter. And so this is data pulled. This is about 6,000 leads across kind of a cross section of some customers. I want to know where the leads coming from. So this is real data from real customers. And what we're pulling in here is that 31% of leads are coming from Google ads, 34% are coming from Google Maps, and 23% are coming from organic SEO. So is SEO still important? Absolutely. Is it the most important? No. Don't obsess about your SEO rankings. They matter. But if I were you, I'd be more worried about how you're doing in Maps. And I'd be more worried about what your cost per lead is in Google ads. SEO is third on my list. Now we address it in our services, we work on it. But if you're Googling where you're searching for garage door repair near me all day, that's not the thing that's going to make the difference for you. But it still matters. Don't get the wrong impression from me. Okay. And you can't rely on pay-per-click alone. That's true. You got to do all three, but you prioritize them based on where the leads come in. And PPC is the fastest. You turn on PPC, you get calls. SEO is a longer burn game. So you want to do all of them. But if you need leads today, you set a pay-per-click today. If you want cheaper leads tomorrow, you work on your SEO. And so you do it all is the real answer. Okay. So this is just some garage door keywords. I mean, you generally, mostly the garage door companies do the same thing. So the keyword set is pretty consistent. The main takeaway from this is if you don't already on your website, and it depends if you have multiple locations too. So I should put a caveat in here. If you run a single location business, okay, you have one location, then you want to optimize your website for that city, right? So if you're in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, you got one location, your homepage, Milwaukee, Wisconsin Garage Door Company, or Milwaukee, Wisconsin Garage Door Repair near me, Bob's Garage Doors, right? You want to have service pages. You want to have a page for garage door installation. You want to have a page for garage door opener installation. You have a page for garage door opener repair, garage door service, right? You need to have individual pages for the services, and you want to optimize those pages for Milwaukee garage door installation, Milwaukee garage door repair near me. Okay. That's if you have a single location. If you have multiple locations, at least two, then it's completely different. What you need to do is have location pages. Okay. So now you're playing more for the maps. Your homepage is going to be branded. You don't want to pick a city on your homepage. Your location page, say you have a location in Milwaukee, one in Waukesha. Okay. Location one page, Milwaukee garage door repair near me. Your Waukesha page, Waukesha garage door repair near me. And you can have service pages. I don't want to get too into the weeds here, but you can have service pages correlated with each location page. So the way you actually set up your site is dependent on how many locations you have. Again, if you have questions on this, give us a call. We do custom presentations where we'll kind of help you understand what you should be doing. But just your takeaway here is use the keywords that people search for and set your website up in the correct way, and make sure you're talking about your city, because people are going to search for the city near them. Now, there's an additional caveat here. I use Milwaukee because that's where our headquarters is. If you think about Milwaukee is a relatively big city. It's not Chicago, but it's a big city. But within Milwaukee, there are smaller cities, which if you send a letter and say Milwaukee, it will get there. But people who live there think of themselves living in Wauwatosa or West Dallas or Franklin or Oak Creek, whatever. They're part of Milwaukee, but you can send a letter to West Dallas and it will get there. And someone who lives in West Dallas first is going to search for West Dallas Garage Door Company. They're not going to search for Milwaukee Garage Door Company because they want somebody near them. And so you need to have city pages. You need to have location pages. So you need to have, a service area that addresses the cities in your market. This is different from the location pages. Your location pages correspond to your Google business profiles where you have addresses. So if you have two addresses, you have two location pages connected to your Google business profiles. Then you want to supplement that with an area served page where you focus on the distinct cities in your service area where your customers would be searching for you, and you want to build out pages talking to them. Okay, that's the point of this whole slide. I could talk for an hour alone on this, but this is really important part of your organic strategy and your map strategy. So for SEO, this is how it's done now. You don't have to be spamming and weird about it, but this has to be part of your strategy. There's a right way and a wrong way to do it, but this is a brief overview of how you do it. I hope it wasn't too confusing. Like I said, give us a call. We'll talk to you more about it. Okay. On-site optimization, we've already talked a lot about all this. You want a strong website, good content, good user experience, use videos, like I said, pages for each one of your services, pages for the cities that you serve. These should have unique content on every page. Keyword in the title in H1. So the title is the new tab. You make a new tab. It's what it says in the browser tab. That's the title. H1 is like the heading on the page. Your keyword should be in those. So if it's Milwaukee Garage Door Company, the browser tab should say Milwaukee Garage Door Company. Your H1 header should say Milwaukee Garage Door Company. That's the easiest way to optimize a page for SEO. There's a lot more that goes into it, but that's like the 1-2 punch that gets you started. Okay. Having a meta description that sells the click. So if you use Yoast or things like that, it lets you customize your meta description. The meta description itself doesn't affect your ranking directly. What it does do is get people to click on it, which improves your click-through rate, which improves your rankings. So you want to write an interesting meta description. Don't be boring. Google, Milwaukee Garage Door Company, read all the different meta descriptions. They're all probably stupid and boring. Make yours more interesting. I won't tell you how to do that, but just think about it. You saw like someone saying crazy stuff, not like offensive stuff, but just like, just have some personality in your meta description. It will attract people's attention and they'll click it. That's how you meta descriptions, okay? Have your name, address, and phone number in the footer. This is important for maps. Again, if you have multiple locations, it's a little bit different, but I can't really get into the weeds on that today. Blogging is whatever. It can help you rank for more things. It can help you, show up better on maps. But if you don't have time to do blogging and you can only do one bit of thing, post to Google Business Profile, project pictures, and talk about projects, do that first. If you have time to do that and blogging, then do some blogging. But engage with your Google Business Profile. That's the number one thing you can do after reviews to help yourself get more leads. Okay. And focus on page speed. Talked about that. Off-page SEO, get your Google Business Profile listing, get lots of citations. These are, citation links are for maps. I don't want to get too into the weeds on this, but you want to have consistent name, address, phone all over the place. Probably already know this. We found Garage Door guys are pretty savvy about this stuff overall, so I'm probably not telling you anything you don't know. Build links back to your website. This is important. Get your Chamber of Commerce link, become a member, get the link back. That matters. You can get links from strategic press releases. Again, that's too in the weeds for here, but we do provide those for our customers. We could talk about that. So for organic SEO, building links matters. If you're going for Milwaukee Garage Door Company, or Milwaukee Garage Door Repair is probably the most competitive one, actually. That's going to be a competitive page. You're probably going to have to build links to win it. Franklin Garage Door Company, probably not. Maybe a little, but so don't overvalue links. They matter, but they matter when you're in a tactical 1v1. I got to improve my ranking for this one keyword on this one page. Otherwise, you're talking about citations that are going to help your maps. But links are like the gas you put in the car after you build the car right. Focus more on building the car right. When you have yourself a Ferrari, all right, spend some money pouring some gas in that thing, but get it built right first. That's more important. Okay. Are you building links? We talked about that. There's more stuff about the signaling. I don't want to get too in the weeds on this. Again, we'll email this to you, just chris@garagedoormarketers.com. I'll send you one over, Andrew send it over. Happy to send you a copy of this. Again, the document will have a checklist for you. These are things for you to do or to give your marketing company to do. Just kind of coming up with, hey, what are things I can improve on? Okay. Talk about Google Maps briefly. Do they matter? I think we've already established this. Again, 34% of the leads are coming from maps. So obviously they do matter. Getting in the 3-pack is pretty straightforward. Optimize your Google Business Profile. Your category is garage door supplier. That's it. You can add other ones under it, like repair service. There's a couple of them. Garage builder, I think, is another one. But your primary category is garage door supplier. Don't get cute with it. That's what it is. Okay. Then optimize, include your hours of operation, include pictures, make a description, include services, fill that thing out. Everything you can fill out in there, fill it out. Optimize it, post content to it, get reviews. This is how you rank it. Now, there are other things you can do. Ranking in the 3-pack is all about local content and signals. And so if you're our customer, we're going to do more things like we're going to write hyper-local content, which is we look at how you're doing in the maps, we find weak areas, and we write hyper-targeted, optimized content, targeting that spot and knitting it into your website to help you push out how well you're doing. You can do stuff like that. It's a little technical, but that's how you expand in the maps. If you're just getting in the maps, get the basics right. Align your GBP with your location page, make sure everything matches, and optimize it correctly, fill it out completely. That's 80% of the battle. Do those things, you'll be all right. You can always do more, and we can talk. We can, if you really want to get crazy on maps, we can do things like click-through rate manipulation, phantom driving directions. I don't want to get too in the weeds here, but there's lots of stuff you can do that you can hire us to do. But get the basic stuff right. That's going to do most of it for you. Okay. And here's a checklist for you to work through also. Talk a little bit about paid marketing opportunities. So again, from this data, 31% was coming from Google Ads. What this subset of customers was not showing on purpose, because I wanted to hone in on the Google stuff, is local service ads, which is technically Google, and Yelp ads. So paid has to be a part of your strategy. We know several customers for spending a lot of money in Yelp ads, getting good results. This is something that if you're interested in it, we're a Yelp partner. We can have them run an analysis for you, which will show kind of the how, if other people are bidding on Yelp ads, roughly how many calls they're getting, what they're spending. We can get good intelligence for you. So if you're interested, give Andrew a call. We can put that together for you. But Yelp ads should be a part of your strategy. Google ads should be a part of your strategy. Local service ads should be a part of strategy. Now, with the caveat, you guys in garage doors have to go through advanced verification, which is a nightmare. And we help our customers work through it. Work through it. It's worth it. You have to be running ads. You just have to be. If you want to grow, if you want to compete, if you want to get those leads, garage doors is extremely competitive. You got to fight for them. And you got to get in those local service ads too. Same deal. Get in there, answer them quickly. Always disposition them. Don't don't say leads were bad that weren't. Just take your lumps. Some leads are going to be bad. Get reviews. Play the game with Google. There's a lot. If you can climb to the top in the local service, there's a ton of leads that come in that way, and they're relatively cheap. So get in local service ads, get in Google ads, get in Yelp. It's worth the money. It's going to provide you the lead volume that you need to grow. Customers shop there. The leads are there. You got to get them. You got to get maps, you got to get SEO too, but don't overlook paid. There's a reason it's competitive. It's because it works, and guys are growing their garage door companies with the paid ads. Okay. So I don't want to labor on this too much. This is paving data. So I don't, like I said, next year I'll have a good year plus worth of garage door data here. But the point is, with paid stuff, the one nice thing about it is it's very, very trackable. So you can understand how much you paid, how many leads you got from it. You can tag it to projects and service calls and understand what your ROI is. Okay, so you know if it's profitable. So you know what your cost per lead is, you know how many leads you got, you know how many converted, you can tie that to revenue, you know what your return on spend was. So if for no other reason, do paid to see that it's profitable for you if you do it right. Okay. Why do many of them fail? It's because they bunch everything together in one group. So don't run garage door repaired ads with garage door install ads with garage door opener ads. Now, there are things like dynamic replay. I get that. I'm just broadly speaking, don't let Google dump a bucket of keywords into one ad campaign with one ad and think it's going to work. It won't. It'll be a disaster. Okay. Group your keywords, group your ads, have a good call to action on your landing page, and test. We test all the time. We test so much because it doesn't always transfer one place to another. So do the testing. Sometimes landing pages are working. Sometimes home pages are working. You don't know until you test it. And you're seeing the metrics you want to see, which is an appropriate cost per lead. If you're not getting the cost per lead you need, that's in line with industry numbers, you got to change something. You got to keep trying until you get there. You can always get there. It's just a matter of testing enough to do it. Okay. So again, go through the checklist, find things you want to focus on to help get your goals, put those things on your marketing agency's ticker or give us a call and we'll talk to you about it. Okay. So last things real quick here. I'm running out of time and these are secondary things. Be active on social media. I hate social media. I don't really use it, but people will check you out on there and you should be active. You should have people liking your page. You should put projects on there, put content on there. Be active, answer people. It matters. They will check you out. I won't, but some people will. Your customers will. So you can't ignore it. The other thing is email. We touched on this earlier with your database. Be touching them at least monthly, if not, or quarterly, not weekly. Don't be crazy, but stay in front of them so they can find you when it's time to do more business, or if somebody asks them who they know, just do enough to stay top of mind. Okay. Another checklist. Very last thing. Are you converting? This is another thing you want to test, but just make sure you're converting your leads. And probably the best thing you can do to convert is to follow up on them and to call them back. So answer their calls, answer their web forms quickly, get back to them right away. And if it's a bid, follow up. The average customers follow up with several times. They get busy, they forget. Don't let your customer out follow you up because they'll get the job. All things being equal, don't get out followed up. Okay. And you can do our marketing automation if you sign up for a call with us. I have marketing automations that are going to chase you down, make sure you show up. So just do it. We can help you, in areas where it makes sense. And these things, doubling your conversion rate is the same thing as doubling your leads. So if you double your conversion rate, it's like doubling your close rate. It's like doubling your leads. You focus on each one of these individual areas to get better results, and it all adds up over time. Okay. Crazy examples. I'm not going to go through it. Again, go through the checklist. Make sure you're tracking stuff. Make sure you're tracking Google Analytics. You're tracking your cost per lead. Ask your marketing agency what your cost per lead is. If they can't tell you, find a different one. Okay. And don't forget this, work on all these things. So that's the end. We covered the things, we covered goals. We covered making sure that you have the right targets in place, having a plan by reviewing your strategy and finding individual places that you can improve upon, laying out your budget, laying out your marketing channels, noticing the trends like maps and reviews and service pages. And these are the things that are working right now. Doing all these things will set you up for massive success in 2023 and beyond. And if you want help, give us a call. Call Andrew, he'll answer the phone. Go to garagemarketers.com/apply now. We will take a look at your market. We will look at your competitors. We will look at what's going on. We'll put together a custom plan for you to talk about what opportunities are there, what things that we see that you can do to improve, to get better results and help you execute your plan for 2023. So that's it. I hope this was helpful. Like I said earlier, any feedback, too long, too boring, now you like whatever. You don't like the way I talk on camera, you don't like my kids yelling at Minecraft in the background, shoot me an email, let me know, chris@garagedoormarketers.com. Thank you so much for joining, and hope you found it valuable, and I will hopefully talk to you soon.